Um, so yeah, let's get started. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, each of you, and kind of give us an idea of how you came to be in They Reach, or how you came to be a part of it.
Who wants to start?
Mary, do you want to
Hey,
start?
Madeline?
Start. Yeah. You can
I
start,
don't.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Mary Madeline. I play Jessica Daniels in They Reach. And how I came to be a part of the project was that I had known the executive producer, Jason Connolly, from working with him on a few films throughout the years. And he introduced me to Sylas. And when I heard Silas's pitch and the passion he was talking about the project with, I knew that this was something that I really wanted to be a part of. So that's when I jumped on. And I think 2017, right? Am I in the ballpark there, guys?
Close. Yeah, I
It's
think I
like
think
so
so.
long ago.
Think so because it
Yes.
started. Yeah, it has to be close. This is end of 2016, early 2017 ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. All
in
right.
that range.
All right. All right. Silas, what about you? I guess you kind of like wrote it, and or I mean, you
I
did write it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, Bry and I co-wrote it, but before I met Bry and was like, let's write this bad boy together. From page one rewrite. I did write a vomit draft that was very heavily, like, pretty much a pile of notes that was very, very long and not in any type of format at all, because I never went to film school or anything like that. So I just wrote it, like, just got all my ideas down and went to town, and that yeah. So and then I met Bry, and but I'll step back. I'm Sylas. I'm S- I'm Sylas Dall, uh, director, co-writer, um, and I did a lot of the production design, and we all wore multiple hats. There was no one person that did just like one duty. We all just did a lot of different things. The traits that we were best at. Um, and yeah, like I was saying, I met. Uh, do you want to go in the story, or do you want me just to wait until we're done and then dive into the story?
We'll wait now and dive into it a
Yeah,
little more.
yeah.
Yeah. Bry, introduce
Yeah.
yourself and what you
Okay.
do and everything.
I'm Bry Troyer. I'm the producer, co-writer, line producer, and dishwasher. I did a lot of things on this set, mainly produce and co-write. And yeah, so there you go. That's who I am.
You're also in the movie.
I'm also in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Mr. Creepy, the highly very handsome studly person who owns
By far my best.
who owns a curiosity shop and talks like this. And yeah, we have a three feature offshoot of Mr. Creepy coming out. We don't, not really.
Kind of like Dr. Terror's Shop of Horror or whatever that
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
we'll do that.
Dr. Terrors
That'd be funny.
or something. I'm a big Peter Cushing fan, so of course I would know that. So basically, I mean, when did you start filming the movie?
2017, I
Yeah, it was in
believe.
2017.
We filmed a chunk of it, and then we took a break, and then we filmed another bigger chunk of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over a period of 9 months. Yeah.
Wow. When did production on it wrap?
Year and a half ago, I think, something approximately.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say late
18.
2018, I think.
Yeah.
Um, we really know our facts, don't we? We're like,
I mean, I don't expect you guys to like know every little thing. What was the process? Was it slow for you guys, or was it like, was it something that kind of snuck up on you, or I mean, how did you feel about the process in general?
I know this. I can talk about this a little bit, guys, and then you guys can weigh in whenever. I know that this was my first feature, so that's in itself a totally different can of worms than doing shorts and music videos and commercials or ads or what have you. It it was a totally different game when you step on this set. It's, I mean, the fundamentals of all the other things that you've done in the past are there, but it's in just a massive, larger scale. And you know, through the process, you know, when I met Bry and you know, our cinematographer James Winters, like, and everybody that we brought into the team, but you know, I look to Bry as a mentor and James as a mentor, and you know, like just learning how to do a lot of things on set and not being afraid to, like, you know, I guess we had a set that you didn't have to be afraid to ask questions. Like sometimes you're on sets and people give you a hard time if you don't know what things are and stuff like that. And myself not being from film school, I didn't know a lot of the technical names I don't even know if I knew a C stand until until our set. Um, I knew what it did and I knew what the function was of what the purpose was for it, but I just never knew like specific terms and so that you know, having gone through the whole process with everybody and then learning on set, um I believe that was a really, it was a learning curve, but it was I was welcomed with open arms with our film family, and I feel like that was just the overall vibe on set and even offset with what who w- with who we brought in to be a part of our world.
Okay. Do you guys want to say anything? Like, I was kind of wondering what, why did it feel like it took a long time? Was there like, you were saying there was a break in between the shooting? What made that happen to where there was a break? I mean, was it something you had always planned, or what
No,
happened?
do you want me to talk about
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
it? Yeah, I think money was the one of the big reasons for the break. We, you watch the movie and you'll notice that it's kind of divided into two parts. So there's the 1969 part, and then there's the 1979 part.
Right.
The 1969 part takes about 10% of the movie, and we shot that first, along with, yeah, we shot that first, and then we shot a little chunk of 1979, and basically ran out of money, and so we had a big. It was kind of like going to the buffet and putting more food on your plate than you can eat. So we kind of decided to do more than we could actually do with the money that we had.
Hmm.
And I was a line producer. I was trying to clutch onto the budget. So at that point, we used some of the footage, or I used some of the footage that we created in that first chunk of stuff to, as kind of a proof of concept video to interest investors into helping us finish the movie. And so that's what happened. So we raised more money and finished the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, that I've heard that more times than I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it gets to a point where you're in the middle of it and you're like, whoa, man, we want to do way more with this than what we thought we were going to. Right.
Oh yeah.
Had you started? So were you in the middle of it too, Mary? When you guys took the break? I mean, obviously.
Well, yeah, I wasn't in the 69 part. I was in the
Right.
70. But I didn't really experience the break part of it. I was actually, I think we filmed Saturday through Tuesday, every week or maybe every other week. And I was in school during this time.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing my homework, well, trying not to on set because Silas would get angry if we did our homework on set.
What?
It's just a fun set. It's just not.
Yeah, so I was trying to juggle that and school, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you studying? Hopefully you're studying your script.
I will inject that Mary Madeline is a straight A student. She is crazy smart. We're so lucky to have her. And so she not only made straight A's at her school, but she also was, she was an A+ actor in our movie. So we were happy to have her. I don't think we could have. I don't think anybody else in the world would have been able to do what she did. It was amazing.
How old are you, Mary? How old are you?
Now or when I was filming?
Well, now. I mean, if it was a couple of
I'm
years.
15 now.
You're how
And then
old?
when I was filming, I'm 15 now.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was expecting you to say at least 17 or 18. Okay.
Yeah,
So you were 14 when you made this.
I was 12, 13, yeah.
Oh, wow. Cool. Okay.
And then I think I grew like 4 or 5 inches on set. So they had to keep propping up like Morgan and Eden on apple boxes. And there's this scene in the gym where Eden does a pizza face thing, and I had to keep slouching for like 8 hours because I had grown so much, and it looks so weird because I'm so much taller than her.
That's pretty cool. Interesting. Well, that's an interesting piece because I had no idea. I figured you were probably about 17, 16, somewhere in there. I've got a 4-year-old, so I'm not quite there yet. So what as far as like the special effects go, it seemed to me like most of it was practical. Would that be accurate?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say yeah. That was the cheapest. I think the cheapest way to get out of doing massive CGI effects, and also it lets your imagination take over,
Right.
more or less than having to put that in someone's mind of like what the creature is, So
Okay.
that was a big part of it. No, but a lot of it was we just couldn't do it.
Well, no, I mean, it looked great. I thought it looked great. That's what I thought most of it was practical, which being my age, I'm totally fine with that, believe me. I think that's great.
I would walk around on set with his like gallon jug of fake blood. He would like survey the scene and he'd be like, "Oh, this needs more blood." He would just like pour it on.
Yeah, I would walk around with like a spray bottle and just. I remember multiple times if you ask Morgan, who played Sam, Morgan Chandler, I would have a spray bottle and I'd just be like spraying blood like in his hair, like behind his ear, and I'm like, "Let me see your hands. Oh, they're not dirty enough. Let me spray them down."
Right. Yeah, but that probably makes it easier on like you, Mary, to like play with, to be able to see something in front of you versus looking at an X, on a green screen, which I don't even know if you've been in that position before. So but I'm just.
Well, yeah, this is my first role in a feature film or lead role in a feature film, and it definitely helped to have like that physical motivation kind of thing, like, oh my god, my friend has blood in him, so like I actually have that internal motivation to further bring the character to life, because
Right.
I'm kind of seeing what she would see rather than like you said, like an X or something.
Right, exactly. Did you want to say something?
I was gonna say like it does add a bit of a challenge when you're shooting out of order, and you have, I think it was like 3 days that exist in the world of They Reach, and for each day, every wardrobe has to be a specific amount of like dirty or clean or what have you, and it has to match up when you put it in when you put the pieces back together in the edit. And if you don't, you screw up, it's gonna be some massive continuity issues. But
Right.
Even though I love them running around and going through the adventure of becoming more grungy and dirty as the film progresses. However, on the downside of that, you have to make sure that you're following continuity to a T and making sure, like, if someone gets a blood mark right here, it's gonna stay there from this point on. Or
Right.
when did this blood mark show up? If you're filming
Right.
another day, it was definitely complicated because we didn't have a constant person. Look, it was more like a unified people looking for continuity issues. So
Didn't have like a continuity person.
we did at first, but just with the swing shifts and all these different how long the movie was, like Bryce said, it was like 7 months or even more. I think, what was it, 7 or 9 months or something, but 70 something days, all, spread out.
2 days, yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to get someone to be like, I'm going to be there every single day, so.
Right.
And we were so low budget, and we were working with the people that made this movie had jobs. They had outside jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and luckily we live in a tech world where we pull our friends in from Amazon and from Microsoft to make movies for them all the time, or make commercials and things like that.
Commercials, yeah.
And so they are making this, but then they have to leave because Amazon is calling, and so they're working on our set for practically nothing, and then Amazon is going to pay them, $5,000 for tomorrow. So we were constantly trying to work around their schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the things that always like surprises me is how did you find the sets? As far as like everything looked pretty right on as far as the time frames go.
Well, let me show you let's step into a time machine right now. I'll show you the 1970s here. This is my house. There it is. This is the house that was in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So that helped.
Did you
go ahead.
remove everything that would look too new or too cool?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, we just outsourced everything I could from friends and family, and then went to eBay for all the knickknacks and things that I wanted to be in the scene, like posters, toys, everything like that. That was a lot of eBay and a lot of thrift stores I have in my area.
Okay.
Sylas is a robust thrift store shopper. He
Yeah.
knows where all the thrift stores are, all the antique stores that sell cheaper antiques.
Yeah, well, some of them, yeah.
He's like stuck. He knows where all these items are all over the Seattle metro area, and he's like, there is a clock that is perfect for this shot at the next to new in Renton.
That is super true. I was like locking things in my brain while I was going around with my list. I'm like, I need this, this, and this. And then when I'd find it, I would just make a mental note. Okay, this is here. And if I don't find a better one, I'm going to come back here and get this clock or get this whatever.
So
It was a
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it was a promise, I think, that Brian and I, while writing it, made James, our cinematographer, a deal saying that he was worried that what a lot of times happens in the Pacific Northwest area is that set designing and costuming, set designing and production design is looked over. Just they're like, that's fine. We're gonna have blank white walls and just have light just beating off it just terribly, and just it's gonna look garbage. And I made a promise to James that would never ever happen on our set. I said that all the sets would look like a time capsule. They would have anything like a cinematographer would want to make interesting, and to cut shadows in and to use light as his advantage and to bounce off specific things. And after we told him that we would do that, and he was hesitant at first, and then he's like, screw it, I'm in. He's like, let's do this. And then from each set, bouncing to each set, that was my main mission, was to make sure that these sets felt real and they looked legit, and it was definitely a challenge because of the time period.
Right. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I would imagine it would be. I mean, but yeah, that's always been something that I've always been interested in was how in the world do they make these places, look like the 70s? I mean, did they just find a house? Did they just know there was a house somewhere that had that kind of decor?
Yeah, I remember we were writing something at Bry's house because when we wrote the screenplay together, and we were bounced back between his house and my house, and never separate. We usually I hate sending screenplays over and then giving feedback, and then you send your version, and I hate that. We were always in the same room.
Right.
And I remember we were at Bry's house, and I was looking around, and Bry's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, let's just use your house as the Daniels house. Like, look around. Like, this is perfect. Like, just need to get an old TV and put some stuff on the walls."
I know, and I said, "Well, we're going to remodel because we have hardwood floors under this green '70s carpet, and and so we were going to totally remodel the place." And Silas is like, "Don't remodel, don't
Yeah.
remodel."
Yeah. So where's the basement?
So the interesting fact, I think there's how many locations, Brian? There's like 5 or 6 locations that make up the Daniels house in general.
Okay, that's cool.
It's
Which
true.
is also a completely complicated thing where we had to draw the house out and then map out who like the basement is at one of my best friends' his actual garage that we shot the really early concept trailer for Indiegogo. And we loved it so much. I asked him if we could use his garage for like 7 or 9 months. And he's like, "Yeah, sure, And I ultimately gave him a part in the movie as as one of the cops. But yeah, so that was its own thing, was that garage. And then the outside of the house in the shed, that's at another another friend of mine, his backyard, which is
Okay.
ironically is another cop in the movie.
So was the exterior your house too?
Yeah, the exterior is the front exterior is my house.
Okay.
The rear, when they go out to get the potatoes in that shed in the back, that's a different house. So
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah, and then when they go through a door, like you go through you get Mary Madeline's
Room.
room.
Hers is in my other best friend's house in his master bedroom.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
so we went through a door in my house, and we just used the same door, so that way it looked like, and we had to shoot scenes in such a way that it looked like it was all one house.
Right.
And when I watch the movie, I think he just went from the bathroom in Olympia to the bedroom in Bonnie Lake.
Bonnie
40
Lake,
miles
yeah.
away.
Cool. All right. And how was that for you to have to deal with that, Mary? Like you'd be in different sets, and you're like, okay, now you're in your room.
Well, it was definitely a different experience to, have to bounce around to different locations. But I also thought it was a lot of fun because then there was like a different atmosphere that came with every location. And yeah, I thought Jessica's room, I think that was my favorite because it was so 70s and it was just so her. It made me feel like right at home.
Right.
Yeah, I love that set. I think that was the most fun. You remember when we revealed the set to Eminem when she walked in? I think it's actually in the special features on the Blu-ray too, where she like walks in, she's like, "Whoa, what the heck?" It's so funny. It was just I love that set.
That's cool. Yeah, it looks great, man. That's why I like I said, it always just floors me when I see sets that are so legit. You're like, whoa, how in the world did they reproduce that? So the soundtrack I know had a couple of songs, or at least one song that has been around.
Yes.
Sounds like the rest of the stuff was probably stuff you had done for the movie, made to sound like the 70s or the 60s.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it, Silas? Or?
You can jump in. I'll jump. We can just chat. We'll jump in together. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, we we found out very quickly that using period piece music was going to cost us, more than the total budget of the movie at the time. So we thought, okay, maybe we can get one song. Because originally we had planned to have an ELO song in there, a Donovan song in there,
There's
like
so many songs that would
three
be.
or four songs. Our original plan was to have like 8 songs from the 70s. That would have been like $300,000, $400,000. So
Right.
we couldn't do that. And so we thought, okay, what's the one song that really captures the end would be, probably the most important song. So we got a 70s song for the end. We got the rights to that. Bread.
Mhm.
And
Everything
and
else.
Eminem's mom Dee Dee, she helped us find the what she contacted Sony, I think, and then between Bry contacting the artist himself and then Dee Dee going through Sony. And
Yeah, another awesome thing about having Mary Madeline in the movie is that her mom is awesome as well. And so her mom
yeah,
became the assistant producer on the film, Dee Dee Rowe, and she is our publicist. I mean, because she's had experience in that.
Mhm.
It's like, how did we luck out? I don't know. We got this amazing
yeah,
team to help us out.
we never would have thought we would have got Bread for the end song at all, which was a cover, like Bry was saying, from the Smokey Brights, which did a phenomenal job. They actually do 5 songs, I think, in our movie, 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah, but we
Right.
did have so Smokey Bright's Prom Queen. She created 2, maybe 3 songs for us. I can't remember.
I think 2 songs.
Yeah, she has she being Leanie. I can't remember. I'm forgetting her last name. Anyway, but she has a band called Prom Queen. She has a song that sounds kind of like it might have echoes of a song from the past, and
Sure.
then we also brought in the band Hobosexual. These are all Seattle bands that we know. Seattle bands, or they used to be Seattle bands. Now some of them have moved to LA and other places, but yeah, they were all people that we knew could create a sound that was 70s. It had a 70s
Right.
feel. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yep. What sort of? These are my weird questions.
No, yeah, shoot away. Go shoot.
Yes. Questions are awesome.
You
We'll
can
take them.
all three answer. What sort of music do you listen to, and who's your favorite artist?
Hmm.
It looks like Eminem has one ready to go.
It's really funny because I actually do listen to 70s and 80s music. So I really like Elton John, Billy Joel, AC/DC, Def Leppard, so kind of those kinds of people.
All right. Very cool. Silas?
I would I like let me think. I'm thinking of that some era stuff. I have David, but I'm like looking at my records over here. I have David Bowie literally on the record player right now. David Bowie, Elton John. Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of Scorpions, like a lot. um, and I don't dive into newer music, I guess, as much, but I don't know. It's really cheesy to say I'm a connoisseur of all types of music, but I really like if music's good, if the music's good, I'll listen to it. You know what I mean? But if it's just if it's garbage, I won't. But I'm very opinionated.
All right. What
But
about you?
I just cheated because I looked at my Spotify what
I was like,
what
let
I've
me.
been listening to. I've been listening to lately. So I listened to the Cars today,
That's nice.
and Perfume Genius. That's totally not even related, but I like Perfume Genius. It's a newer band. Um, L King, and who else is in here? Led Zeppelin. Just everything, and Rob Zombie. There you go. There's a combination.
There is a combination.
That's interesting. That sounds like me.
I have I have 2 more. I'm gonna have 2 more. I'm gonna add because I know I'm cheating as well. Arctic Monkeys. I was listening to the Arctic Monkeys and then the White Stripes. There you go.
All right.
Those are my last 2 weeks.
All right. Do you have a favorite superhero? And if so, why do you like them?
Hmm, that's a toughie.
I I like I
God,
like
stumped us.
yeah, I like Batman and Daredevil, and I think it's because they're like anti-hero-ish, something's they're dark brooding, like something's happened to them in the past. They're not perfect, and they're always struggling with their inner demons. And so I really like the contrast there, where they're not just like, I'm a superhero. It's like there's some really dark, you know, seated issues there, and there's so many storylines, depending on what, like, especially with Batman, like what year you're in, like, one, two, or like multiverse and stuff. Like it really gets into I I even like those stories, like with where, like, what was it, where where they thought there was that universe where they thought his mom turned into the Joker. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Flashpoint.
yeah, Flashpoint, thank you. um that's super interesting, and Thomas Wayne and all that shit. Like, I hope to God they make a movie with that. I guess that would be awesome.
There actually is a movie. It's an
Oh, no, I've seen the anime. Yeah, I've seen that one.
So you've seen that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, I'm like an actual live version would be pretty cool. They've talked about it, but I see you have I see you have some Batman stuff back there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
pretty I'm pretty into that stuff. Go ahead. Anybody else?
You go, Brian. I need an excuse to think.
Go, Brian.
Well,
Your turn.
I'll just brag on Mary Madeline then. We when we were writing the script, we early on we originally had a male hero as the person in the script. How much? It looks like 2 minutes 11 seconds. Okay, a male hero, and then we had a guy that was going to play that role who was amazing, but he ended up getting pulled into a Netflix series, and we were thinking we need to make this a stronger movie, and so we realized a female hero would definitely resonate more. And we had an amazing actor right there, and Mary Madeline, and we thought there's no one that would be better for this role than Mary
We
Madeline.
came up with that decision so
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah, we're like, oh, like most people would be like, what do we do? And Brian and I both said it almost at the same time. We're like, let's get Eminem. Like, let's figure out this role of, like, Eminem can totally knock this out of the park and be, the hero of the film. So that, and it made it just so perfect, and made it amazing.
Probably gonna get cut off.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with Bry.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I definitely think that now's the perfect time
Mhm.
for strong female roles.
Yes.
Mhm.
Definitely so. Okay, you can answer the superhero question.
Okay. So I used to be really into Marvel. I still am. So in that universe, probably Captain America and Deadpool, because Deadpool is so hilarious. But right now, I'm watching this Amazon Prime series called The Boys.
Oh yeah.
my God. You're
Yeah.
watching that?
Yeah.
It's a good show. It's a good show.
So good. And so out of that, my favorite superhero would probably be Starlight, because she does bad things in the name of good. But then my favorite, I think, actor from that is Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, because he is so good. And sometimes, like, his character has these really disturbing moments, and it's so authentic. It's like crazy.
Cool. Okay. All right. Well, that is interesting. That is definitely not something I would have expected.
I know, me neither. I was like, oh man.
Right. Well, that's interesting. Cool. Okay. All right. If you had to choose one movie or TV series besides your own to watch, what would it be?
The Boys.
A TV series? Or
Or
like
a movie or TV series, or both, whatever.
like the one that's not out yet, or one that's coming out?
No, one that, imagine it's like a desert island thing.
Okay.
You're making it too complicated, Sylas.
I know. And on this desert island, no, I'm just kidding. Man, that's a rough one. I do have my favorites, but I seen the hell out of the Burbs, which is a
I
good
just
one.
watched that the other night. I love that movie.
And I have a giant poster in my bedroom of it. Man, that's a rough one, Brad. You got one? I got a couple more, but definitely.
I could probably answer for you because I know that you're crazy about like David
I know. I
Fincher,
was gonna say
Ridley Scott,
Zodiac. Yeah,
Jordan Peele. You were in a Jordan Peele
I
phase,
know.
but yeah, and we were both kind of obsessed with Bong Joon Ho
Yeah,
after seeing Parasite.
yeah.
Silas and I actually went to Parasite pretty not too long after it came out. We had no idea what it was. We actually were going to look. We were looking at a theater as a potential place to show They Reach in the future,
Mhm.
and they were happened to be showing Parasite, and we thought, well, let's just go to this movie. And so we did, and I was blown away. We were both
Yeah,
blown away.
I walked out of there. We're like, "Whoa, what the hell what did we just watch?" Um, yeah, those are some of them, some of the ideas. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say The Boys, but if I had to choose a movie, probably the second Batman one, The Dark Knight, because I really like Heath Ledger in that one.
Right.
That's one of my favorite portrayals of the Joker.
Yeah, that's probably, in my opinion, the second. It's
Pretty
definitely in
close.
the top 5 superhero films for sure.
Right.
Definitely so. You're not going to get out of it. You got to tell me what you like, Silas. What are you
I
doing?
know.
What are you taking
So
to the
like,
desert island?
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what would we take to the desert island? Like a movie that, oh man, maybe this is a good one. This is an oldie but goodie, but maybe Big Trouble Little China, just because I've seen it
Okay.
a bajillion times. And I love that movie. There's a massive influence on me when I was younger. So
Yeah, that's a great movie.
yeah, it's I quote it, and like every time I'm on set with my cinematographer after we do a good job on that day, we always say like we really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we? And we both say that at the same time. It's pretty funny.
That's
But
awesome.
but
Okay,
yeah, so it's that one. I'll take that one.
cool. Okay. Um, this one is a question I ask everyone, and you can choose to plead the fifth, or you can go into it as far as you want. All right. Would you, do you consider yourself a religious or spiritual person, and how does that affect your career choices?
Did you say spiritual person?
Religious or spiritual? Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
He had to take his glasses off. Oh my gosh.
Let me clean my glasses for a second. Um.
I am a Catholic and I went to a K through 8 private Catholic school. I wouldn't say my religious spiritualness affects my career choices. It just helps remind me to be a kind and compassionate person and to help other people.
Okay. All right.
Let me think.
Have you cleaned your glasses enough, Silas?
I'm thinking this is an interesting one. I was raised very free. Not towards any religion, but of some higher power. It has to do with my ancestors and being from Japan and stuff. So it's one with Mother Nature and just not Buddhism, but it's like just very like a spiritual side of looking at things. But it was never like had a name like God or the devil and that all the terms that most uh go throughout their lives, like through religion like that. But I would just, I don't know. I don't even know what that. It's not atheist. It's because I do believe in something, but I wouldn't necessarily put a name on it.
Maybe
and
Gnostic.
maybe, I guess. I guess is that what I'm saying, Bry? I don't know.
That's
It's just one with like once you pass away and your spirit goes into the trees and your spirit goes into where it goes and you live on and stuff like that. And it's I think it's a cultural thing, So I don't,
Okay.
for
Well,
myself and
sounds
yeah,
Buddhist-esque. Yeah.
right. It's yeah, this is kind of the way I was, I guess, brought up.
okay. All right. What about you, Brock?
Yeah, I was as a kid. I went to a Mennonite church,
Oh,
and then
wow.
and then later we went to a kind of a Reformed Quaker church. So, and then I actually have relatives that are Amish, believe it or not. Yeah, so I had an interesting background when I was younger. I'm not Mennonite. I don't. I believe that it's important kind of embrace the good out of all religions. I'm not, and that's kind of where I am. I don't, and I'm also very kind of a science based guy. So that's what I look at. I do enjoy seeing or peeking at or can't say it, piecing out kind of moral arcs and even religious arcs in movies. I think
Mhm.
that's interesting. Horror is a fascinating genre because it's kind of traditional in a way. It's almost it almost it adheres to the idea of being punished for your sins a lot of times. Not they reach necessarily, but I have noticed that in horror, and I like horror that kind of uh, diverges from that. Sometimes I like horror that doesn't diverge from that, but yeah. So that's I don't know that says anything about me personally, but that's kind of where I am, I
That
guess.
is interesting that Bryce says that because a lot of the horror films that I grew up on and still to this day very heavily revolve obviously around religious aspects and the devil, the God, the everything like in between and that is I don't know what that says about me, but I because I love horror films. But that is an interesting aspect where like I'm not I wouldn't deem myself super religious or anything.
Right.
And I also look at the more of like scientific way of looking at things like but then and then like I'm like, well, maybe we just die and it's just black and our like atoms and all the neutrons and all that shit just you know and you're just done and I'm like that would suck ass, like that would suck, but what I mean? But then, my other side of me is like
Yeah.
looking at it like I said, like from my other culture from Japan and I'm thinking like, I stare at the trees a lot. I'm really like one with nature when I'm out and about and I notice things a lot of people don't know. And sometimes I think that has to do with like how artistic I am, like with painting or drawing or whatever and music. And I feel like you have to be a part of like this feeling and this vibe and that's not scientific at all. that's just
Right.
like these feelings and being able to be in touch with just that, just this universal um this feeling. So I don't it's weird because I'm like like left right like I don't know. So
I just I always ask that question because that's an off the wall question that a lot of people are like, "Whoa, what?"
Fascinating question.
Yeah, I find it interesting that in They Reach, you have a priest and you have a scientist or whatever you would consider the guy at the beginning,
Yes. Yes.
whose
Yeah.
son becomes a priest.
mhm.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that you had both of those in the same movie, but it kind of seemed like you didn't take a stance one way or the other. It was just like what you're talking about right now. It just kind of was like ambiguous. It's kind of like here's this dude, here's this guy, and
And then Jessica is very scientific minded. Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right. But yeah, just I was just interested in like if that was a choice or whether it just kind of happened because those are the staples of a horror film.
We talked about that, and we kind of diverged from the staples of horror film with They Reach.
Well, I mean, having the two stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how's she gonna defeat it? Religion or scientific or
Exactly.
And it was definitely something, yeah, Brian and I talked about, and I think that we went against a little bit of the grain of not having it be like some ultimate power of like religion, more or less. I think, Brian, like I think we were going for like it was Jessica's intuition of like her knowledge of like this scientific, awesomeness that she ended up creating, and that ended up helping them, just who she wanted to be and who she was the whole time ended up saving the day pretty much. And
Right.
Yeah, so we kind of,
I didn't even
think
think
we kind
about
of lean towards science.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. It was more of a science thing because it was
Potatoes.
Yeah, okay. But then ultimately it was the sacrifice of your father in the movie.
Yeah, because they needed to be a sacrifice, and so
or a combination of both.
Or something. Yeah, it's a combination, really. Yeah, but
right.
But yeah, it was interesting because it kept them. You did need to follow by the rules that we laid out in a semi-expositional dialogue of you have to do this, you need to sacrifice, one needs to bleed on it. Those are all supernatural elements.
Sure.
Right. Not really related to science at all. And then you have the science project that's like saving them, like literally like with the light, and it's keeping the demon at bay.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, that's yeah, you're good. That's it's interesting looking at those two.
So what was the point? Because I'm trying to, it just came to me like when I was watching it. What was the point of the killing of the kid at the beginning?
Yeah. That was following the rule.
And if I need to cut this because it's a spoiler, I will.
Wasn't it because the boy was becoming the host? And then they had to kill him, so then it didn't take over the kid's body?
Yeah, the idea is you have to kill the demon soon after it takes over the host. That's how you kill the demon. And
okay.
Which is why later in the movie, the priest is going to shoot Jessica when he realizes that the possession has started. She never allows it to happen, but because she's too strong at that point.
So basically, he was too far gone at that point.
He was too far gone, yeah.
Okay. All right,
but then it turns out the demon had a way to slip out of him, slip out through the blood. Yeah, this is the blood demon. So.
Okay. Yeah. Bry did some pretty fun research on the Sanguine demon, which is a blood demon essentially, and it could. That's why there's a lot of transfer of like when Jessica cuts her hand, and then the demon awakens with the blood, stuff like that. It's a lot of like having to deal with bleeding on the doorway to hell, pretty much, or wherever, and the doorway in this case was its escape route, was the reel-to-reel that it sucked in, the blood went back into in the beginning.
Okay. And if you want me to cut this, I will. I don't. It's up to you. Because I mean,
necessarily, it's a little bit of information that might be a surprise to some people. I don't think it's necessarily a spoiler, though. I don't know if it rises to the level of spoilage.
Okay. Right. I don't want to I don't want to compromise your. I don't want to compromise what you're wanting to do.
As long as we don't tell people about the spaceship that comes down and destroys the high school.
No, right.
Yeah, yeah, that part blew me away as well. Okay, so that was interesting. So it's based on an actual demon.
It is. I mean, a lot of demons, I think, are are constructs of. I mean, they're pretty much all constructs of people over time, And so I dove in and tried to research demons, and this was one of them that popped up, and I just thought it seemed interesting. Yeah, so I don't think it's a real demon, but somebody at some time, thought it was. Somebody in like the 14th or 15th centuries, they thought this was something that was a real thing.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Last question. I know I've had you on here forever. I'm sorry. Tell us a bit about the latest project that you're working on or you're involved in, or if this is what you're busy doing right now, you're just trying to promote this and push this, then tell me that.
So that's
yeah, Bry and I are writing two things, and we're gonna dive into them very heavily actually in the next couple of weeks. One in particular, Bry, you can jump in as well, but the one is a dark comedy sci-fi thriller.
You probably characterize it as sci-fi with elements of comedy
and
feature film. Yeah,
mystery. Yeah, it's a little mystery. It's definitely more adult centered than They Reach. They Reach was for
it's
a
a
younger
porn.
audience. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, yeah, it's an adult film. No, no, it's
me.
They had to make real money.
I know, right? No, it's centered around like a college students and stuff, or college age, and so it's darker humor, more like definitely bloodier or more horrific, and language is a lot. It's not like, oh man, so it's just more of an older type of film, I guess, like
And appeals to an older audience,
yeah,
not young adult, but
yeah,
right.
So, and Bry, take the other one. You take the other one. I murdered that one. Jesus.
No. Yeah, so we're developing two things, because we have an executive producer that really wants us to get this stuff done. So the other thing is a series that we're working on. It's actually it's also a horror comedy, or it is a comedy, but with horror elements. And we're not supposed to talk too much about it, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to dive into that. I can't wait till we can say more about it, because I haven't seen anything like it.
Because it's never been done before.
And I haven't seen anything like it, and I think it's gonna rock people's world.
So why did you choose to go a series route versus, I would almost say, taking the easy route and just making a movie?
Yeah. People keep asking us when we were pitching the sci-fi comedy. People would say, "What else do you got? What else do you got?" And so we kept running into the situation where people were interested in the series, and now we have people that are interested in possibly pre-funding the series. So
cool. Okay.
That's where we landed, and that's fine, because we're excited about this. It means we can really develop more characters. We can give multiple character arcs. There'll be a primary character, at least at the very beginning, and we look forward to it. It's the setting and the type of characters that we can have in this are going to be a lot of fun. It's it's just a mixture of horror, comedy, and it's going to be fun.
Cool. Okay. All right. What do you got going on?
Well, I am anticipating the release of They Reach. But other than that, the COVID has slowed the market down considerably, because people don't want to hire people with things they can't make. So I'm just taking every audition I can, putting my all into those, hoping that something comes out of it.
Okay. And you're in the Washington area too, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. Okay. All right. Well, I definitely enjoyed the film. I think most people will, that are into horror stuff. It definitely gave me the Stranger Things / Trick or Treat, the '86 Trick or Treat,
Hmm.
about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
possessed record. um, kind of a Goonies kind of thing,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was great. How's it? It's going to be released VOD,
Yeah.
DVD,
Amazon.
Amazon,
Yeah, and
Blu-ray.
Walmart.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. All right. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, it was. I enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing more from you guys.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you.
enjoyed
Yeah.
talking to you, and hope I didn't overstay my welcome.
No. Yeah, the DVD and Blu-ray are available for pre-sale right now on Amazon.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay.
Interested? Yeah.
Send me that info, and I'll put it in the interview. Like I'll put it in the
Okay.
interview links and stuff. All right.
Will do.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Take
All
care.
right. Thank you.